So you want to learn a new character, or you're new at the game, but you just don't have the time like the streamers or pro players have to dedicate hours of the day to their craft, or maybe you feel like there's just too much to learn and having all these new combos and options can be overwhelming. I'm guilty when it comes to overwhelming new players with my guides because it's like, where do you start? How do you even begin to level up or pick up a new main? Today I want to show you how I streamline the process of learning or developing my skill with the character and how pro players can quickly pick up new characters. You could also use this guideline if you feel like you've plateaued or you're trying to figure out what's missing or what exactly you need to improve on. I'll be breaking down the process in two categories, offense and defense. These steps are not in any order, but each one is just as important as the other. Timestamps will be available if you'd like to revisit a point in the description below. Let's get started. When you get into training mode with your new character, one of the first basics you should learn are the bread and butter combos. When I say combos, I mean 1 or 2 combos max that will always hit consistently and is not dependent on whether the opponent is standing or crouching. These 2 BNB combos you should learn is 1 jump-in combo and 1 grounded combo because these are the most common scenarios you use them the most. The reason why I'm recommending you only learn 1 or 2 combos versus learning every combo route for that character is because you don't want to overwhelm yourself with trying to figure out what route to choose in each situation. If you look at high level players who pick up and play whichever character and dominate in just the first few days, they aren't doing the crazy stuff or even the optimized routes that character specialists will opt for. Mastering 1 or 2 combos at a time can be just enough to capitalize on a punish or a jump in. One of the biggest flaws that I see in lower level players are their inability to land basic combos consistently because they're too worried about what's optimal or what combo I should do now, and they end up dropping it. Don't fall in the trap of trying to learn too much at one time. Get used to the basic routes first, master them, and then when you're ready to move on to more advanced combos or even incorporate drive rush extensions, slowly add them in 1 combo at a time. Now what happens if you're fighting someone that doesn't really jump in or doesn't let you jump in? What do? What if the player is just turtling and sitting back and blocking all day? This is where you have to experiment with what buttons your character has in neutral as a poke. It doesn't have to be every single button on the pad, it could just be that one good button that wears down their drive gauge or annoys them to the point where they will eventually open up. As much as combos are fun and important to pull off, being able to stay patient and poke with a button is just as equally important. When you're trying to find a button that works, I would recommend finding a button that chips a good amount of drive meter and has a decent reach. If you don't know what button to use and you want a head start, just pull up a YouTube video of a character specialist and look for what they like to use at neutral. You can't rely on a good old jump in to get your damage. You have to understand that when you're poking with a normal, you're dealing both in-game damage and mental damage. This game rewards players who play offensively, so turtling isn't really a good strategy to have in the long run. So what I'm saying right now might sound like I'm just stating the obvious, but you'd be surprised with how often I see a lack of this in lower level play. And in the comment sections of my YouTube guides, players are overwhelmed with all the options a character can have, but they haven't even mastered the fundamentals yet. Whenever you watch a seasoned player in training mode learning a new character, they usually have a mental checklist with what they want to figure out. What's their AA normal or move? What's a good button to use at neutral? And what's their basic combo route or punish combo? Once they have a good understanding with those things and master them, they then move on to the more elaborate combinations and routes. No one is going to judge you if you don't do the sickest combo with the max damage, but they will bat an eye if they see you can't even do the basic stuff. The most important tool to learn about your character is how to anti-air. If you talk to any mid to high level player and you ask them, hey, what's one thing I could do to get out of gold rank? 99% of the time they will tell you to learn how to anti-air consistently. Just learning how to anti-air can move you up in the ranks quick, especially if you're still around silver to diamond. Even if you can't consistently perform a dragon punch every time, doing the poor man's uppercut, which is crouching hard punch for Ryu, is enough to get your mindset into looking for AAs. Whenever I'm playing someone for the first time, one of the first things I look for is how often they AA. If a few jump-ins get unchecked, I take it as a sign for me to play aggressive and bum rush my opponent, because if they can't check the jump-ins, I have little faith they'll be able to check anything else. If a player shows me that they can AA consistently, it says to me that they're ready for anything. One of the biggest things you can exploit on a player is their inability to AA, so don't be that guy. Learn the button that you can use to AA, or master the input or charge to AA, to the point where you don't even think about it anymore. Street Fighter 6 is a new game, so treat it like one. You have to start looking at the drive meter as your second health bar. I remember when I first started playing and learning the game, one of the people in chat said, "Hey, you're constantly in burnout, dude." This really coincided with my overall win rate. I was burning meter on senseless drive rush combos or using OD moves that offered little to no return. There's real checkmate situations in this game, and it revolves around the usage of a player's drive meter. Treat it with care and use it wisely. Spend it, but be mindful of the situation you're putting yourself in if you run out. If you're low on drive meter, don't be afraid to retreat and hang back and let it rebuild. If you watch high-level players, you notice that there's a lot of dull moments when each player is just letting it build back up again, or they only really put themselves in burnout if it's going to give them the best position or kill. I can't really tell you when or where to use it. I can only ask that you be mindful of how you use it. This awareness alone could put you in the higher bracket of skill. So to recap, when you're learning a new character or getting started for the first time, these are my tips. Learn your basic combos and master them. When you can start landing them consistently, add drive rush extensions and optimize your routes. In the process, you also need to find the best button that works at neutral as a poke. Being able to play patiently and not always having to jump in will teach you how to play smarter and more efficient. Take the time to practice how to AA. Find the button or move and practice it. You'll notice that you'll not only stop unnecessary pressure, you'll also have trained your mind to always be ready. And the last thing is to treat your drive meter as a second health bar. It's your second lifeline, your extra body armor. Spend it wisely and always have enough to survive. I hope these tips helped, and if you want to train sometime, join our Discord. We're a growing community of like-minded people and fighting game players. If there's something I missed or you want me to elaborate on, leave a comment below. My name is AM, and as always, GG's, and I'll see you later. Peace!
Don't turn back, I ain't leaving alone. You feel that? I feel that. Yeah. You electrify me when you exercise me. When you take me to a place I've never been before. One thing's for certain, we can make it worth it. When it takes control, the wraps around, we can't